Hello, class. My name is Sandra Montero, and my topic is Religion versus Modern Life in Barcelona and Marseille. My research question is: how does modern Mediterranean culture navigate the shift from traditional religion to urban survival? The Mediterranean Sea has long functioned as a historic crossroads between ancient cultures, diverse religions, and competing languages. For centuries, it was defined heavily by its deep Catholic traditions and monumental religious architecture. But how do modern Mediterranean texts and films show the clash between keeping these old Catholic traditions alive and moving toward a modern, secular way of life? In this documentary, we will explore this exact question by comparing two major, deeply connected port cities. Through film and literature, we will see how Barcelona actively attempts to build its Catholic faith into its modern urban identity, while Marseille has largely left traditional religion behind, shifting its devotion to secular street survival, mass immigration, and intense political power. Building the Sacred in Barcelona. We begin our journey in Spain, specifically in Barcelona, looking through the lens of the documentary Sagrada, The Mystery of Creation. Antoni Gaudi's architectural masterpiece, the Sagrada Familia, is a literal mountain of faith, standing in the absolute center of a rapidly modernizing metropolis. The documentary shows us that religion here is definitely not just a relic of the past, meant for a museum. Instead, the ongoing multi-generational teamwork that required to build this massive church actively keeps Catholic tradition alive. We see artisans, architects, and sculptors collaborating day after day, and this collective effort transforms a simple religious building into a vibrant, living narrative about cultural continuity. In Barcelona, this monumental architecture waves fades directly into the everyday economic and cultural life of the city, successfully merging the sacred with modern art, global tourism, and civic pride. The empty cathedral. Traveling across the Mediterranean coast to France, we arrive in Marseille, where we find a drastically different cultural story. In his 1920s essay simply titled Marseille, the famous cultural critic Walter Benjamin observes a bustling port city where traditional faith has been almost entirely hollowed out. As he walks through the city, Benjamin vividly describes the city's Catholic cathedral as abandoned and deserted. He goes as far as calling it an empty, gigantic railway station that could never be open to traffic. By using this powerful metaphor of a train station that goes nowhere, Benjamin highlights how organized religion has lost its momentum and purpose here. The church buildings still stand, but the spiritual passengers have long since departed from different kind of life. Instead of finding devotion inside the grand cathedral walls, Benjamin notes that the true heartbeat of Marseille it sits outside, out on the gritty, unforgiving streets among the poor proletariat. In these working-class neighborhoods, the religious impulse hasn't actually vanished, it has simply shifted. It has transformed into the secular and everyday survival of the masses. The daily rituals of finding work on the docks, trading goods, and navigating the diverse alleyways have become their own form of religion. The people of Marseille are profoundly dedicated to their community and their survival, replacing the formal rituals of the Catholic Church with the chaotic, relentless, and intensely physical reality of early 20th century industrial life. Modern power and identity. This historic shift from religious piety to secular survival is perfectly captured and updated in the modern Netflix drama series called Marseille. Fast forwarding the contemporary times, this series shows a city where the driving forces are now political ambition, ethnic identity, and fierce battles for control rather than traditional Catholic piety. When comparing the two cities, we see a stark contrast in where they put the energy. While Barcelona uses collective teamwork to build a beautiful, big, collaborative religious space, the characters in the Marseille series use their immense energy for selfish, corrupt, political fights. And this series clearly demonstrates that the intense devotion once reserved for saints and the church is not completely vanished into multicultural identity and political warfare. The modern city is driven entirely by the immediate worldly and secular needs of its highly diverse population. Conclusion. Ultimately, Barcelona and Marseille shows two highly distinct paths of Mediterranean modernity. Though they share the same coastline, they have answered the question of tradition in completely opposite ways. Barcelona probably strives to physically build its religious traditions up in the sky, and by continuously funding and constructing the Sagrada Familia, the city anchors its modern 21st century identity in an inspiring Catholic monument, proving that the sacred can still have a massive place in modern economy. Marseille, on the other hand, grounds its modern energy firmly in the streets. Through both Benjamin's historical essay and modern television, Marseille proves that when traditional institutions like the church become empty railway stations, the spirit and devotion of the people do not simply die. Instead, that devotion transforms, it becomes something else. It evolves into a fierce, secular dedication to urban survival, political power, and the gritty reality of modern life on the Mediterranean coast. Thank you for watching.